going on, everyone? Welcome back to Getting Technical, episode 57. Here with Burke and Sam. How you guys doing? Ready to talk some fantasy?
Oh yeah, first preseason week. Get you a little hyped. You know, a little introduction, little how you doing into the season. You know, get yourself ready.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for this actual season to start because nothing even happens in the preseason, anyways. It's all just
it just gets you hyped.
Stuff.
Like there's nothing like seeing like a couple plays like here and there. Like even if it's backups, like I don't care. It's just nice, just like seeing some football being played. Like there's nothing like it. There's no better time of year. It's really not.
It was a nice lead up though. I don't know if you guys watched The Receiver on Netflix.
No, that's what the follow up to the quarterback.
Right. Yeah, that was really good.
I didn't watch that either.
I didn't watch any of that.
Did you watch Hard Knocks?
No.
I didn't watch Giants. The last Hard Knocks I watched was Jets last year.
Yeah, well, they just did the Giants, and they just started this past Sunday the Bears.
Oh, they're doing two this year?
They did
two. Like the off season for the Giants. It wasn't like regular hard, and now they're doing the regular.
This is like the regular Hard Knocks. Turnaround time on that just crazy. I don't know how. Like last year, like there was a report coming out. It would come out on like Thursday, and then on the Sunday episode, like it was in the episode.
Well, because they obviously know who. They're not revealing it to us and then filming an episode in 3.5 days.
Right. Yeah.
So
Same
crazy.
thing with I don't know if you watch One Jets Drive.
No,
I watch
YouTube. Oh yeah,
during the season.
Just as good as Hard Knocks.
During the season, I'll watch One Jets Drive and stuff like that.
Yeah, the regulars. I mean the off season version. They just dropped their first episode on Tuesday, so yesterday, and I watched that last night. It came out at 8. That was really cool. I mean, there was a lot of just like general hype. They didn't get into really anything. It was a lot of hype talking about Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, they didn't even mention Hassan Reddick.
I've just come back in a year so far, so I mean, we'll see what happens with him. But honestly, like, I still have a lot of faith in like the Jets defense, like still be that top tier, even though like we're kind of missing that pass rusher that he was supposed to like backfill Bryce Huff.
Yeah,
but it's still like I still have like faith that like Jermaine Johnson's gonna take that step up. We still have JFM. Like
no, JFM's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
We didn't re-sign him. We let Quentin Jefferson go. We let Bryce Huff go.
Wasn't JFM on like a 4-year deal or something?
Yeah, and we waived him, and then now I think he's in Denver. I want to say.
It's still. I mean, between JJ, Quinnen, and Will McDonald, I still think that's like a solid enough front.
Yeah, I think Will McDonald, he still needs to gain some weight. Like I watched, I forgot who. There was some like Jets fan that went on and showed every single play from Will McDonald in the preseason. He had a couple good moves here and there, but he's still not good enough on the run. Yeah. His pass rush, like it is what it is. He had that one really nice spin move that, of course, ended up in the roughing the quarterback call, which was all bullshit because he's getting the tackle, he drives through the guy, he lands on him, but it's not like
it's everything they teach you in form tackling that they're just like, great, now's a penalty.
It was
just like it's the cleanest tackle in the history, and they're just like, well, you drove him to the ground. You're like, what do you want me to do?
I know,
like I gotta like spin off him like as I'm trying to go down. It's like this is like
and that
some
all
of these
started
moves are
with
gonna
Rodgers.
Yeah, some of these moves are gonna get guys like more hurt.
Yeah,
because they're trying to do other things. Like I said, they're trying to spin off while I'm trying to make a tackle. It's like all of a sudden, like now I'm here trying to move here. I'm like, I'm gonna get hurt doing this stuff.
Yeah, and it all started with Aaron Rodgers in like week 3 or something like that a couple years ago when he was with Green Bay, and he got like driven through the ground by probably, I think it might have been Anthony Barr, and he like dislocated his shoulder.
It's like this is an injury.
Football.
It's football.
Yeah.
It's a contact sport. Like guys are gonna get hurt. Like you keep making these rules, and like guys are just gonna get more and more hurt, or to the point where it's flag football.
Implement those like little pads on the helmet in the next coming years.
Oh, I saw that. Like guys are gonna have the option to wear like the pads on the outside of the helmet.
It's not those big ones. It's like it look. I mean, it's not a sock, but it's more of just like a sleeve that goes over it. Jonathan Taylor wore it in his first preseason game. It doesn't look awful. Like it has like the logo, has the Colts logo and everything on the side.
Is there science behind it that it like actually helps lower the chance of getting concussion?
I'm sure they're going to tell you that there is, but
I mean, there's got to be more protection. Isn't going to hurt you?
Yeah, but if it's a sleeve, what is it going to do?
Well, there's padding in the sleeves. I'm just saying, like, you know how in the off season you'll see in training camp, it's like those giant like hex pads that are on top.
That's what I'm referring
to. So it's not that. I think it's smaller pads, and on top there's like a sleeve that goes over the top of it, and it has like the logo on the side.
A fucking game, like. Come on.
Trying to stay away from the CTEs.
Did you see the Jets reacting to their Madden scores, their Madden rating?
Yeah,
I didn't see what they were getting.
They pretty much all got violated, and then I feel like they gave Sauce like a 98, I think.
No.
He's the highest rated corner in Madden.
No, I don't think he was in 98. But they did say he was bugging out about his strength was like a 65.
Yeah, but
he looks
Aaron Rodgers at 83.
Garrett's an 85, which is ridiculous.
Which is crazy.
Breece Hall, I think, was the highest rated Jet. He had like a 93 speed or something like that.
Sauce is definitely the highest rated.
Oh, yeah?
I'm pretty sure he's the number 1 rated cornerback in the 90s.
I mean, I would like what is like Quinnen and like CJ Mosley like
CJ's a 90.
Yeah, he's a 90.
And he said that was the first time in his entire career that he's been a 90.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I would assume Quinnen's probably around the same.
I wonder what Quincy is after going to the Pro Bowl and everything and being an All-Pro. He wasn't in the video.
Like, yeah, they're never gonna make a guy like because he was probably like a 70 before like this year, so he's probably like an 83 just off like
I think like Michael Carter got violated. I think he was like a 78 or something like that.
Yeah, ranked the PFF like number 1.
I got the rankings right here. So Sauce is the number 1 ranked Jet. He's a 97 overall.
Oh, Quinnen at a 94.
Tyron Smith is a 95. Quinnen's a 94.
They got Mike Williams over Breece.
Michael Williams is an 87.
Mike Williams being better than Garrett Wilson. The guy hasn't played.
Breece is an 84.
And so
that's
Quincy.
even crazier.
Son Reddick's an 85. We'll see if he plays.
Garrett
Wilson's 85. I don't know how you could put Mike Williams over Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, that's.
I understand Mike Williams is great in theory. He's never really put together a full season.
Sleeper right there. Greg Zuerlein being an 80 is a little ridiculous. That guy is.
I think that's purely based off age.
He's like
Tyler Conklin sneaking up there, 76. No respect to the man.
Yeah.
That ain't bad. But you guys, I don't. All I've been seeing on TikTok is fantasy football, so I'm locked in for this episode.
I mean, everybody's got their drafts coming up too.
And I usually haven't in the past, like only because like we're gonna do this and we're gonna talk about it. Like I've been like really like I was like taking notes. I was like writing notes and I was like putting them in here so I could like read them off. Because normally when we come into these podcasts, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't do too much research. I do
next to none.
Oh, the podcast
but I was like, for this,
the podcast. I do zero prep.
The benefit will be is now that I was doing research for the podcast, I'll have it for fantasy. The downfall is if anyone that we know decides to actually listen, they're gonna know all of my strategies. So I'm giving that away for the sake of the pod.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
our league is different though. Like, I mean, with all the keepers and the trading of draft picks, and it's just
I mean, some things you don't have a chance at, but I don't know. I just kind of
our league also has like guys that think they're like super smart, like Rusamato, who's like thinks he's gonna con everybody and their mother. Like,
and now he has like one pick in the first 10 rounds or something like that.
Yeah, well, he got his chip. That's all he needs. He won't care now. He'll take the year off. He understands.
Absolutely.
He understood the mission last year.
Sell your soul to the devil. Get your ring and
go for the 1 year. What do you guys want to start talking about fantasy? Because I had some like crazy stuff I looked up.
I mean, do you want to just jump right into fantasy or just like any like NFL news? Just like
the biggest NFL news right now, other than the Hassan Reddick situation, I think is just Minnesota completely imploding.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy gone for the year. Jordan Addison gone for the year. They had a couple other guys with major injuries today too.
How big is the fall off though? How big is the fall off from Darnold to JJ McCarthy? Like, do we know? JJ McCarthy's never played a snap.
I can't say it's gonna. Yeah, like I'm saying.
It can't be a huge.
He came from like everybody said like he was very well coddled over in Michigan and like I'm sure he was. I don't really know, but like he looked really good in his preseason game. Like I mean the guy just wins, but I mean like Sam Darnold is a capable enough backup that like I thought I didn't think he was going to be out for the season with a meniscus, but I mean. Maybe they're doing a little precautionary stuff, but
they said they initially diagnosed it as a torn meniscus, and then he went in for imaging, and they said it was worse than they expected.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean,
you know, he's a rookie. I wasn't expecting much from them. I don't know about you guys.
Because isn't that that's what happened to Zach Wilson in that preseason game? Didn't he tear his meniscus in like the first drive or something?
Yeah,
he was out for the rest of preseason. He was back by week 1.
No, didn't he come back like week 3 or 4?
Oh, but he wasn't out for the season. He was still back relatively quick.
Meniscuses aren't like anything like crazy. The guys can come back, but like
I
could be just precautionary. But the fact that like they had like 3 or 4 like major injuries, like all happened within these like last 3 days, and it just like took any kind of hype and like air in their lungs and just fucking completely knocked the wind out of them.
Another thing I saw was the whole Rashee Rice thing, how he's really not getting punished. They haven't even mentioned like a sentence because of what went on when he wasn't drag racing, but he was like going at high speed on the highway, got into an accident. Yeah, he was like racing with his friends or whatever in all their cars, and he ended up like driving into like this mom and her daughter in the car. He hasn't gotten disciplined for it by the league.
He wasn't like arrested? I didn't do any. I heard briefly about the story. I didn't look into it.
Yeah, like
I don't think he's had any like trial or like sentencing, right? Like,
yeah, like I don't think it was that yet. But on top of the fact that he hasn't gotten anything handled down by the league, but Jameson Williams got an immediate 6-game suspension for betting on college football or whatever it was.
Well, they take the gambling seriously for some reason. They don't take reckless driving.
Yeah,
they don't take
the real crime seriously.
They don't take felony serious at all. Like you can go out there and basically do whatever you want. Besides, gamble on games. I mean, we all know the Joe Mixon, the Ray. Besides like Ray Rice, he's probably the only one that really got like serious. Like he got blackballed from the league. But I mean, like guys like Mixon, he's gonna be RB7 this year. Just after punting a girl in Popeyes.
The gambling and the weed is what gets them. And speaking of the weed, I saw Martavis Bryant got brought back by, I forgot what team signed him to like a I don't know if it was a full 1-year deal or if it's like a prove it like week by week basis.
Who was the other one that like kept Josh Gordon? He was back with a team last year and stuff. Yeah. It's just like, dude, like, I get it. You want to smoke pot, but it's just like, dude, you're getting paid millions of dollars. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just wait for the offseason.
It's absolutely insane to me. Just stop smoking pot.
Yeah. So after he got signed, somebody said, "Oh wow, they get like this team's getting a steal or whatever." Martavis Bryant really still has it, and they showed a highlight video. At the bottom ticker, you just see Chris Ivory for the Jets, 17 carries, like 97 yards. Like they're showing highlights from 2015. Fitzpatrick, 3 touchdowns or whatever. It's like that's bullshit. Bruce Arians is still the head coach for Arizona.
That's the way it goes.
It's typical delusion.
But fantasy.
Absolutely.
We have a bunch of stuff we could talk about. I had one of the things that I saw recently was there's been a lot of, I don't know about you guys, Garrett Wilson this year, a lot of hype around him going into fantasy. Last year, obviously, he was basically had his season stripped from him when Aaron Rodgers went down on the 4th snap.
Hey, but he still had a really good year last year.
He had 187 targets, I believe.
Yeah, and he had over 1,000 yards. Back-to-back years with 1,000 yards and more than shaky quarterback play.
But here, so I found this stat. I was doing some research online on Reddit. This was on Reddit Fantasy Football. So from he a fan. I'm not going to include that in the clip. I just figured I'd say it. But in Aaron Rodgers' career, he's given a wide receiver 140-plus targets in one season 4 times. It's been Greg Jennings, 08, Jordy Nelson, 2014, Devontae Adams in 20 and 21. The lowest any of these receivers finished in fantasy football was wide receiver 4. Last year, Garrett Wilson was targeted 168 times.
I mean...
So, obviously, the Jets are looking to get Garrett Wilson the ball. They have added a guy like Mike Williams. He's still injured, right?
Yeah,
he won't be ready for the season, right?
No, they said he's going to be. They're going to treat him just like Breece Hall. He'll be dressed for week 1. They'll up his snap count and everything throughout the season.
I think at this point it's just getting his game day conditioning and then just kind of babying him back into full speed.
Yeah, like he's been in practice and everything. Like every once in a while, like I'll tune into they show like the live.
But I mean, Alan Lazard is allegedly catching footballs again. So I mean,
don't believe that at all.
Yeah, wait till the soccer ball comes out, then it's going to be gone. His hands are gone.
But I mean, as far as fantasy goes, if Aaron Rodgers, if this stays true, and look, they're going to be force feeding the ball to Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson.
Absolutely. I mean,
if this happens, Garrett Wilson, to me, I think going into the season, he's a clear wide receiver 1. He's a clear guy that you're either taking at the end of the first round or at the turn. Obviously, we can't predict if Rodgers gets hurt again, but like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, those are 2 guys I'm looking to target in every draft.
The thing now, though, is that even if Rodgers does get hurt, obviously, knock on wood, Tyrod Taylor is obviously leaps and bounds better than Zach Wilson. So it's like they were showing a thing where it's like if the Jets averaged 13 points per game last year, if they averaged 17 points per game or whatever, they were a playoff team or whatever, and it was just like can Aaron Rodgers get them 17 points a game? I think Tyrod Taylor can average them 17 points a game. It's just if they just continuously just feed Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, I don't think it really matters. As long as you have a semi-decent capable quarterback, those guys are going to produce numbers.
Well, on top of the fact that the offensive line is better, obviously on paper with Smith, Moses, John Simpson coming in, AVT's healthy again, Joe Tippmann with 1 year of experience under his belt. I mean, even Breece Hall should have a better year too on top of it. Absolutely. And they're saying that he's been catching a lot of balls in practice. Like he obviously jokes around everything, saying that he's the second best receiver on the team behind Garrett, which I mean,
he very well. I mean, they did a lot of good things with him last year, just like putting him out and like letting him run routes out of the backfield and stuff like that. So if they can continue to do that, like he needs 25 touches a game, I think, for that team to like really be successful. So like that's why like obviously people I think lean towards Breece, you know, being like the number one like skilled guy in the Jets offense, just because like, you know, Garrett can obviously only do like one thing, but like Breece can catch passes and obviously run the ball.
Right.
Like, he is a really good pass catching running back. You know, he's not just like a one dimensional kind of guy. Like
yeah, for sure, and that's why he's going. You know, based on fantasy, I mean, he's a top 3 pick.
Yeah, he's running. Yeah, he's RB2, 3.
I think he's technically RB2. It goes like in most mocks that I've seen, it goes McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, and then
McGoat.
And then exactly.
Yeah, as far as running backs, I think he's clear too. I think it's some people are probably
him and
tossing up between him and Bijan.
Yeah,
I think
it's just like it's a weird dynamic with Bijan because for like. There were like weeks last year, and I don't know if it was because he was a rookie, but there were weeks last year where he's getting 18 to 22 carries, and then there was weeks where it was just like, is Bijan even on the fucking team?
Well, that was also like Arthur Smith just not knowing what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, but it's just like, is he not there anymore?
I have no idea. I don't really pay attention to Atlanta like that.
Smith's not there.
He's
not
have
there.
No idea.
I mean, it's also you also have now a very competent and capable quarterback in Kirk Cousins that can help any kind of young.
Steelers. He's the offensive coordinator for the Steelers.
Oh, that's great for Justin Fields.
R.I.P. Russell Wilson. You mean?
Yeah,
Russell's the starter, right? Over there?
He's the starter right now. Justin Fields didn't look good in preseason. He fumbled at least 3 snaps.
Did he?
Yeah, it was bad.
I got a question for you guys about fantasy, and I got to switch this like a minute. Actually, you know what? Let me just do it now.
The SIM card?
No. So basically,
it only records
the camera can only record 20 minutes of video at a time.
Oh,
so if I don't do it, it will not record us talking. So I basically I end it and then I press start again. It's like literally I click 2 buttons.
Crazy. Right.
Or he's saying that he won't re-sign with the team.
I saw that San Francisco said that they are looking to give him a long-term deal though. Like
they want to give him a long-term deal.
What's the big issue here? Because San Francisco is making it clear they want him. Why would you not want to be on one of the best offenses with the best coaching staff?
It's probably
best offensive line, best running back.
It's probably the price point.
Super Bowl favorites.
It's probably the price point because as of right now, I think the highest paid wide receiver is Justin Jefferson at like $35 a year. Based on like his salary yearly, so I mean he's.
Money, man.
I mean obviously every single year it goes higher and higher. Baseball. Every year it goes higher and higher. So you got to imagine if he's probably asking for more than him, knowing that he's not going to get it, and they're trying to like agree on a price in between.
Yeah.
But his number is probably going just as low as like $30 million, and
they're probably
saying now with 26.
They're probably saying something like that.
And they just can't find that middle ground. They can't agree on it.
I mean, him being in that offense makes a clear-cut difference.
And the same thing's going on with CeeDee Lamb. Like he hasn't shown up to camp. He wants a new contract. He changed that his background picture. Him and Hollywood Brown changed the background picture on Twitter to a picture of them at Oklahoma together. So everybody's saying, "Oh, he may get traded to Kansas City."
But I don't understand. Like this goes back to the Hassan Reddick.
It would be disgusting.
Hassan Reddick wants to hold out, right? Because he wants the contract. He's doing, if he sits out the whole season, is losing $15 million, and his contract just resets. So next year he's still on that 1-year deal with the Jets, so he can't really get out of the contract.
Well, I think
so. What's the point of requesting a trade when the Jets clearly are not trading?
Well, that's why I think like Joe Douglas realized he's like, I have all the leverage here, so he's like, get your ass to camp. You're not getting a deal until you do. It's like you're locked in here for 2 years if you don't show up. So it's like it doesn't matter to me.
And we saw what happened with Carl Lawson. We make a big acquisition. Guy goes down with an Achilles, and then we're screwed out of all that money that we paid him.
Yep.
Yeah. But also, same thing with CeeDee. Like, it makes sense for both of them to want a deal. I'm pretty sure he's going to lose $1 million a game if he doesn't play.
Right. CeeDee's a different conversation, though, considering he had almost 1,800 yards.
I found he's a top 3 player at his position.
I saw this stat. I was watching clips on TikTok. I saw Mike Clay from ESPN. He said that CeeDee Lamb is his number 1 overall pick. He then he gave this stat. He said, so after week 7, the Cowboys bye, because CD got off to a rough start in fantasy. After his week 7 bye, CD had 314 fantasy points, so he was averaging 28.5 per game. The next closest wide receiver after week 7 was Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had 208. So we outscored the next closest wide receiver by 100 fantasy points. And then, for an example, like Tyreek Hill averaged about 21 points per game during that span. So he was 8 points per game in fantasy higher, which is pretty crazy. Like, to outscore in that, 10 to 11 week thing, 100-plus points is crazy. Like, he was that good last year. He was that good. He's that important to them. So it's like, you're the Cowboys, you're Jared. Like, why of all players to hold out on? It's like the clear-cut top 2-3 wide receiver in the league.
Well, that's because they know Dak and Micah Parsons need a contract next year. So are they going to sign CD to some ridiculous deal, not be able to bring back if they don't?
What's the point of paying Dak if you don't have any weapons for him?
Well, but what's the point of paying CD Lamb if you're not going to have a quarterback to throw him the ball long term?
Just get a contract. Like, I feel like
it was like a 3 or 4 year deal or something like that.
This dude's getting a new contract.
He signed like 2. Like, this is like going to be his 3rd like big deal like already like as
well that's what happens when you're a 4th round pick because you don't have that because you don't have that 5th year option. That's what pushes it along for guys like CD Lamb where like and then all the franchise tags start and then they start arguing over that.
I don't know.
Those T. Higgins situation.
A guy like CD, bro, he's one of those guys. Like, there's a few wide receivers in the league that like you just
game changers.
They're game changers. You got to do everything you can to retain them, and he's obviously one of them.
You gotta be able. I can't imagine they won't have enough money to pay those 3 guys.
They're gonna figure it out. Like,
they have to.
Just
yeah,
like,
I mean, just off the top of my head, like based on players that they have that they pay. I mean, it's obviously Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. There's somebody on their offensive line now that Tyron Smith is gone. I forgot.
Probably Zach Martin. No?
Probably Zach Martin, and then Tyler Smith, that tackle that they drafted a couple years ago, but he's still on his rookie deal.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
Van Der Esch retired.
To me, it's just like Jerry Jones is probably just being stubborn also.
Which is crazy because I just saw a headline come out saying that the Cowboys are the first team to like be worth over $10 billion in the first NFL team to be worth over $10 billion.
It's like it's one thing for the Jets to not want to give like Hassan Reddick this crazy contract. He's never played it down for them. CD's been their like go-to guy for a few years now. He was the best receiver in football last year, and it's like, just pay him what he wants. Like,
right.
It's not like they have other options at wide receiver. Like, they have this plethora of talent at the position. Like,
yeah,
they have
wide
CD
receiver 2s like Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, like
they were showing like the. Like if CeeDee Lamb does not report, like their receiving core is horrendous,
and the running back room is worse now because they brought back Zeke and I forgot where Pollard
was. It's like down.
Yeah,
Pollard's
gone.
He's back on the Cowboys.
I had no idea.
Their number one is like might be the kid like Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, he's good, but
he's solid. But I mean, like
their offense runs through their offensive line, Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and then Jake Ferguson's pretty good. Brandon Cooks is a fine too, but. Dude, like, it's fucking CeeDee Lamb.
All right, but we want to go into, obviously, like, we all know, like, we have the number 1 pick. Like, we all know who we're taking.
McCaffrey.
But I mean, like, yeah, right. We all know it's, Christian McCaffrey. But
the only thing is, like...
I guess just say, like, you have the number 2 pick in the draft. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Brees. Because he's basically Christian McCaffrey light. It's him and Bijan Robinson are the 2 guys that you said are going to get 25 touches. They'll probably carry the ball 18, 19 times a game, and they're going to get 5 to 6, 7 passes thrown to them if they average over 100, like not over 100, but if they could get to like 90 scrimmage yards. And I mean, I don't know if Brees per se would be the goal line back, especially with Braylon Allen being there. Like, he's just such a bruiser that he might be the goal line guy, but Bijan, I mean, there's no other options there when it comes to goal line. Nobody's going to take his ball.
Tyler Allgeier's got also he gets a lot of receptions. He might be a big like third down, like get some like 3rd and long, like bring him in for the pass.
Well, yeah, the 3rd and long, but I'm talking about. I don't think they're going to give Tyler Allgeier the goal line touches. The goal line,
maybe not.
The vulture touchdowns are the worst part for running backs,
right?
Because if you're not getting those 6 points on a 1 yard carry,
like, do I go 3rd year in a row drafting an Eagles running back and just get screwed out from the most selfish QB in the league?
That's why, like, to me, like, I was seeing people talk about like Saquon, like how he's a great option because we can talk about this too. Like, there are a lot of people this year. Every year, like, the strategy kind of changes based on everything.
Yeah, Saquon is not a good
option. There's a lot
of
people online saying like, there's not that many good running backs, which is true. There's so many wide receivers. Like, go get that stack in the beginning. Go first 2 rounds. Like, if the value's there, running back.
right.
then worry about the rest because there's so many.
Yeah. Which is why I never understood the no RB strategy.
Yeah, because like you're saying, like
I've seen it work in the past.
I have to fill in my running back, so it's just like how am I going to?
The only way the no RB strategy works,
if you get lucky.
Well, not if you get lucky, but like our league, we got rid of tight ends because it's just we talked about it last episode. It's just such like a throw, like you just throw it in the air and you hope something sticks. Unless you have a guy like Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, unless you have a top guy, that's when you could go no RB. You go wide receiver the first 2 rounds. You hopefully get a top tight end in the third. Then you go after your top quarterback, like a guy like Josh Allen, who's going to have total of 40-plus touchdowns. Then you can say, all right, well, running back, maybe I'll figure out a guy like
a Mixon who might have a good year, like
down in
Houston or something like
so
that.
Last year,
like you start going after guys like that.
After that. Yeah.
Last year in one of my, I've always been a guy
Stevenson
who
would be a good one too.
But last year I was in a league and Tristan's in the league and he did first 3 rounds he went receiver. He might have taken Justin Herbert in the 4th, but he ended up with Alvin Kamara, James Cook, and he had one other guy that I can't remember who, but he got very lucky because he ended up with these receivers, but also
Devon A-Chain.
Alvin Kamara, he came out. He was suspended or no? Was he suspended?
Last year he didn't play the full year this year.
But he ended up really coming into his own. Then you had James Cook, who had a great year.
Yeah,
and it's like that's like the type of situation you kind of need to find yourself in to really be like. But if you hit, and you get lucky, your team is elite.
But
it's all based on draft positioning.
That's such a coin flip where it's like if James Cook didn't turn out didn't have a 1,000-yard season or whatever, it's like his team's terrible.
Yeah.
Because now you're sitting there like Kamara was like hurt at the beginning of the year, and then it's like
James. He still ended up as a top 15 running back though.
Who, Kamara?
Yeah.
Well, he's another thing. It's like he's a big pass catcher and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like his running,
you get a guy like James Conner also, who is going to be.
Dude, carrying the ball at a time. I think he's going to have another. Whenever he's healthy, James Conner, he produces, bro.
Now that Kyler's back, obviously they got to worry about throwing the ball now. Well, he's not going to see loaded boxes.
Marvin Harrison out there, that really helps him out a lot.
Who else is in the wide receiver room there? Because it's Marvin Harrison and somebody else.
Hollywood not like Browns. Rondale Moore. You think of him? Isn't?
I don't know. No, I think Rondale Moore's in. I think he got traded to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I know he was there last year.
I don't even know who wide receiver 2 would be for them.
Oh,
Arizona.
Oh, with Rondale Moore out for this year. I mean, it's probably
Rondale Moore. I think he's in Atlanta now.
Wouldn't it just be like Trey McBride? Obviously, he's a tight end.
Oh yeah,
tight end. Him or Ertz. Run the 2 tight end set with them too.
Yeah.
Because they lost Hollywood. But I don't know. Like to me, I feel like I don't know. Like it depends on where you're picking, but like. It's hard to not take the elite wide receiver if it comes to you at 1. To me, the way I'm thinking about it is if I can get CMC, Brees, or Bijan in the first round, if they're available to me, I'm taking them. If those guys aren't available to me, if I have like the 6th pick, I'm not taking like Saquon or Jonathan Taylor. Well, yeah, I'm gonna take the Jamar Chase.
I'm not passing on Jettas I'm not passing on CD or Jettas or something like that. But
unless
like
it's one of those 3 guys.
Now it might be worth passing on Jettas with. I mean, now that's just
Sam Darnold, baby. Sam Darnold season.
Because he's just gonna get so many targets. Like he's just that good. Like in PPR, like he'll
absolutely.
Right, but if you at the 5 pick though. If you get him at 8 or 9 because everybody else passed on at 5, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's still going to go in the top 3.
He definitely, I think he drops below Jamar and
he drops
CD.
below Jamar, CD, and even Tyreek.
Yeah,
I would take Tyreek over him.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying.
Bro.
If you get him at
2,000, he was on pace for 2,000.
I know.
Yeah.
He's been dealing with. He was dealing with a lot of injuries in the second half. I hope that doesn't carry over. But like,
I mean, when you're a guy like
you're a small, fast guy like that, it's easier to kind of get injured in the league. He's not.
But when you're as fast as Tyreek and you end up behind the defense, how many times are you actually getting hit?
Well, I think it's more
not
or less.
That. It's
I
think
he's
shit like that.
Yeah, he's like one of those guys where like he's so freaking strong that it's just like his explosiveness can get him hurt alone. You know, it's not like getting hit and stuff. It's just how powerful of a guy he is.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right now. This is Mike Clay's top 300. So he's got his top 3 guys are Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson. I know he did say he's taking CD number 1 if he has the chance, but let's see. So you got those 3. Those are like the tier 1. So Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan are tier 1 running backs. Then you look at the tier 2 and it's like
straight wide receivers.
No, I'm talking about just running backs like John Taylor, Saquon, like Jahmyr Gibbs.
I don't get the John Taylor like
Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Etienne. Like those are all great players, but like if I'm in the first round, like I don't really think I want those guys. I'd rather I'd rather take the elite wide receiver, and then in the second round, if those guys are still there, which they probably will, then I'll take one. But I want to get one of those elite wide receivers for sure.
Why are you not sure about Jonathan Taylor?
It's just like 2 like back-to-back seasons of just like big injury. Like I'm just saying health-wise. Like if
now that Anthony Richardson is there, I think that opens everything.
Anthony Richardson's a health issue.
Anthony Richardson could also be a Jalen Hurts situation. He runs the ball in a lot.
He could also just be a crazy thing, a bust. We don't really know what you're gonna get out of Anthony Richardson. Like
but he's like one of those guys. Like he's like a Jalen Hurts. Like he's gonna take those.
You can't say he's like Jalen Hurts.
No. I'm not. I'm talking about fantasy wise.
Just a big body quarterback that can take goal line.
I'm saying like
he's gonna steal touchdowns.
But like I know Jalen Hurts is gonna be good. I don't know Anthony Richardson's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Anthony Richardson.
That's what I'm saying. You can't say that.
I'm just talking about the John Taylor perspective. I agree with you.
I'm saying that, but like. If Jonathan Taylor's whole season depends on if Anthony Richardson really doesn't suck. Because he very well could just suck.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. We don't know. I mean, I don't think he's on that Jalen Hurts, like Josh Allen tier yet, especially now that Indy may hold him back from doing things like that because he got hurt. He got hurt running the football, I think, and ended up on the goal line. He tried like lowering his shoulder to get in, and that's how he hurt his shoulder in the first place. So they may not let him do it.
For a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs or even Pacheco, like guys that are just
Kyron Williams was awesome.
Well, like those are guys that like honestly like I might even value a little bit more just because of like the injury factor for Taylor. Like you got your best availability is availability, and like he hasn't been on the field the past 2 years.
But to me, also, it's with Jonathan Taylor in PPR, he's not a pass catcher. He's not.
No,
so PPR, like guys like Jahmyr Gibbs,
they also use Nyheim Hines to catch passes too. Yeah. So like that's another thing too.
Like, 11 and 10 games played his last 2 years. Yeah. Didn't get
look. Obviously, these are really great years. Obviously, the 3 years ago, the 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns, but that's 3 years ago. Yeah. Now you're talking like that's,
and we've seen how quick running backs can age.
Right. So it's like, look at these receiving targets, like 51.
Receiving is not there.
Right, but I mean, that's another thing I said. Like Nyheim Hines is there, so like Pacheco, like guys like Pacheco, even Etienne gets passes, thrown to him. Yeah. Pacheco, I mean, he looks like a freaking weirdo when he runs, but I mean, the guy runs hard,
and he's also just in that offense where.
Right,
they're not afraid to like,
and I think they want to start running the football more.
Jahmyr Gibbs, I would value Jahmyr Gibbs honestly ahead of Jonathan Taylor because he is a dual threat running back.
100%. And I think the only thing he's dealing with a hamstring, but I'm pretty sure they said he's good.
Yeah. Campbell came out and said that he's not worried about it.
The only thing with Jahmyr Gibbs is like if Jahmyr Gibbs gets the touches and the opportunity, he's gonna be a top 3 running back.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like the Bijan thing, like we don't know how this offense is gonna run now. Like they could just sit there and sling it with Kirk because if Kirk is hot, like just let him throw. Yeah. So that kid stay away from Bijan.
But he's coming off the Achilles, so are they going to do that early on in the season?
That could be true, but like eventually, like they could just break away because Kirk's feeling good. Like before Kirk got hurt last year, like he was the top quarterback in the league.
Right.
Like. I'm not saying he's gonna get back to that because obviously he's Kirk Cousins. He's always been like a.
I fully agree with this top 300 because I think the 3 running backs are definite. I agree. I agree with Justin Jefferson being down below all the other wide receivers like Lamb, Hill, Brown, and Chase. Jonathan Taylor being over Saquon Barkley, I think that's just due to his familiarity with the offense and being behind that offensive line.
I don't even as somebody who's drafted Philadelphia Eagle running backs the last 2 years. Philadelphia Eagle running backs get screwed because Jalen Hurts is the most selfish human being in the red zone on planet Earth. It could be the easiest.
But we know that
Saquon, the easiest handoff to a running back, and he could walk in untouched. He will pull that fucking ball and fight through 3 defenders.
Well, it's also less about pulling and just the tush push.
It's not even. I'm telling you, the amount of times I've seen them, it's like they're on like the 5-yard line. And they're just running some sort of zone read play, and it is a guaranteed pull for the first 2 downs.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Yeah. And then it's a touch, but you can't blame him because it works. But as a fantasy owner, there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than your running back doing all the work, getting inside the 5.
Yeah,
and then they either put another running back in, the quarterback runs in, or they they just don't run the ball at all. Like those are the 3 most frustrating things in fantasy football.
The guys will run for 1,000 yards, like Sanders and Swift running for 1,000 yards. and then they'll have like
three or
four touchdowns because Jalen Hurts has like 12 rushing
touchdowns.
He had
15 rushing touchdowns last year.
Yeah, he's just a snake.
Is there the argument to say
snake.
that Saquon Barkley is definitely a better goal line back compared to Miles Sanders and
he definitely is.
DeAndre Swift?
Absolutely, but I mean, Jalen Hurts also thinks he's the best goal line running back in the league. So I mean, he's an asshole.
Kind of
Fuck
is.
him.
He kind of is. I'm just gonna reset it again.
Alright, so we want to move on to the
I got some other stuff.
the must-haves and
Avoids is not avoids. Saquon's my must avoids because I'm gonna end up drafting Saquon just because.
Add to Vegas's over under, and he was like, I don't know, like he's like, I don't know, like Vegas is kind of always right, like, and he was going through the list, so it's like last year Mike Evans had 13 touchdowns and his over under this year is 7. Oh yeah.
Vegas had him at 13 touchdowns.
No.
Last year he had 13 touchdowns and his
Vegas
over
had him
under
at 7.
Yeah, so last year Vegas had Mike Evans. Last year Mike Evans had 13 receiving touchdowns. Right. Vegas's over under for him this year is 8.5. Then it's like someone like Tank Dell. He had 7, and he didn't. I think he played in like 7 or 8 games because he got hurt.
Yeah.
His over under this year for the whole year is 4.5 on FanDuel.
Well, is he gonna start the year off like?
I'm pretty sure he's good.
I think it has less to do with him being healthy and every. And
just like,
I mean, between Diggs, Nico Collins, Dalton
Schultz, I could have kept
4.5.
Tank Dell. I'm not keeping him because there's just too many mouths to feed in that.
Yeah, there's too many mouths to feed, and he's coming off
4
of an injury.
legit threats on the offensive end, as a receiver, and then there's Joe Mixon. So I'm staying away, but. A.J. Brown, he had 7 last year. He ended the season. He had that hot streak, but he was not getting that many touchdowns.
Well, yeah, because they would bounce back and forth. But I had A.J. Brown. They bounced back between him and Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Vegas has him at 8.5. But the one that stood out was Jalen Hurts had 15 rushing touchdowns last year. His over under is 9. So I guess Vegas is kind of
hammer that over.
Vegas is betting that Saquon is gonna, not get stopped at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
And Jalen Hurts will not have as many touch points.
Or they finally decide that we can't let him do this every single year. Now that we have Saquon, we can run the ball with a running back.
Well, yeah, that's actually kind of something I never even thought about. Like, no way.
Jalen Hurts is the most selfish man.
Touch push, which I don't know. No one really ever talks about.
When I mean, granted, it was Jason Kelsey, but when that center is basically just sucker punching the nose tackle in the face and just blasting him back 5 yards, and Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts would get 2 or 3 yards before he would even get touched.
Yeah, I mean, I know Cam Jurgensen is there. They drafted him a couple years ago, and he was playing guard because Jason Kelsey was there. I think he's going to swing over, which would be good because he was really good. I think he came out of Oklahoma.
That was the whole touch push, is the fact that Jason Kelsey just won the battle every time except against the Jets. The Jets stopped it. But I mean, I'm hammering that Jalen Hurts over. I mean, that's what makes him like it makes him for like fantasy wise because he
makes him a top 5 guy instead of
it's
a
the same thing like Lamar, like like Josh Allen. Josh Allen runs around like he gets like 500-600 yards rushing and stuff. I don't think he gets as many rushing touchdowns.
He's gonna have.
I don't know how many he had,
but
I think that for the sake of the pod, we need to place that bet.
Yeah,
over. The over. The over's gonna.
Well, I guess Josh Allen had to because he didn't throw 40 touchdowns last year. He had 50 overall touchdowns.
Did he have 50? I thought it was like.
I thought he had 50 overall touchdowns. So he must have had like 15 rushing touchdowns.
That's it.
29 touchdowns. So yeah, so he had.
Oh my God! How many rushing touchdowns did this guy have?
11.
11.
No, he had 50 total touchdowns. That's only 29 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, so
my math wrong. That's 21.
That's what I'm saying. I thought he had 44 total. Scroll down.
I thought he had 50. So then he had 21. No,
I thought he had 50 as well.
He had 21 rushing touchdowns.
That's passing. Keep scrolling down.
Advanced passing. Like a bunch of fucking retards.
Rushing and receiving. Touchdowns. He had 15 last year. So 15 and 29 is 44. Like I said.
You're right. I was with Burke. 15. I thought he had 50.
I thought he had 50, but I thought he had like 30, like almost 40 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, no, that was the whole thing. Like him and Diggs were going back and forth all year because Diggs was pissed that he wasn't getting touches.
29 and 18. That's really nothing to write home about. But I mean, the 44 total touchdowns is
right. I mean, also, you don't know how many picks did he have? How many fumbles did he have?
He had a lot of arm punts, though.
Yeah,
he had a lot. I think there was
he had a 3-pick game against the Jets.
I mean, Those weren't on fronts, no. Those are just because you suck ass.
Yeah, wait. Before we even continue, I saw this fucking shit on Reddit. I was like looking hard on Reddit to try and find stuff to talk
Do you even work at work? No.
BL
101.
This was not.
Where's your money really going?
This was right before I went to bed. I was like,
coming from a guy who does not work at work.
No, but this shit had me weak. The guy goes, "Is taking trade advice from my psychic considered cheating?" My psychic has been soliciting me fantasy football tips.
I mean, unless he's traveling back from the future, then no.
And ever since, my team has been unstoppable. For context, it's a 10-man league, and my team has yet to drop less than 145 points.
I mean, it's a 10-man league.
My psychic advised me to start our running back Gus Edwards as my running back one. Oh, after my running back one went down with an injury.
And that was probably the game where Gus Edwards went off.
Yeah,
that
like
was right when
3 touchdowns.
I fear that my psychic's advice may be an unfair advantage, but I'm too scared to tell my league mates. Oh, I'm too scared of my league mates disqualifying me.
I don't. That's definitely not cheating. Like I said,
they can go to the psychic too.
It's so funny though.
Unless that guy's traveling back from the future, then it'd be like, listen, there's no. How is that cheating?
It's just got his psychic and he hasn't dropped less than 145.
Hey, at least he's not asking like all those girls like collect stones and shit. At least he's not doing it based off of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just shaking them in a bag, picking a color out. I'm going with that team.
Going to get a palm reading on who to start for this fantasy.
You want to talk about players you're avoiding?
Well, can you just hold on? Can we just talk about like how crazy people going to a fucking psychic just to edit your fucking fantasy lineup? That's insanity.
Put some effort in.
This guy paid money instead of just like doing a little bit of research on his own. He was like, screw it. Like this psychic must know something. And then he was like, yeah, fuck it, man.
I mean, people subscribe to like Discords for shit like that.
Did you see the guy last year? This was on Part of My Take.
Yeah, but Discords are people doing research, not some psychic who like rubbed
a
crystal ball.
Paying money for free information is wild.
A guy offered.
Internet is so free.
This guy wanted Christian McCaffrey in his fantasy league, so we offered the guy Tony Pollard, and said that he could sleep with his wife.
What?
For Christian McCaffrey. This was like #1 Reddit thread last year. It was on Part of My Take. The guy offered his wife and Tony Pollard for Christian McCaffrey.
Was it accepted?
Was it accepted?
I don't know. I'll go on Reddit and find
What's the wife look like?
Could you imagine he's still fucking lost in the first round of the playoffs?
Oh my god. Imagine the guy goes, I'll just take Pollard, but not the wife.
Can I see a picture of her?
That's not what it is.
Leave your wife out of it.
I'll take Pollard. You want to throw in Gus Edwards?
Yeah, leave the floozy at home, please. Jesus.
You put that in an online trade machine, it goes immediate rejection.
Like gives you like by value. It's like Pollard great value. The wife just like negative value.
Yeah, you know you can do it on Madden. It starts as green, puts the wife in red.
Why can't I find it?
Because the guy's wife found out. She deleted his Reddit.
I saw it like 2 days ago.
Could you imagine being the wife finding that out? Oh my god! If I just offered up my wife as a trade piece, and then to get rejected. Like if this gets rejected as a trade, it's got to be the craziest thing.
Mature content. What do they have? The picture of the wife?
God, no. Oh,
you pressed view more. I was waiting
not
for
safe
it.
for work.
I say, yeah. So
Wife's got the only
trade advice: offering Pollard in a one-night stand for my wife for CMC. So I'm 3-5.
Love dwindles.
So I'm 3-5, and I'm uphill.
Championships are forever. Yes, they are.
Oh wait, but
this is fake.
Anyway, I'm currently waiting for other managers to accept. I just wanted to know everybo's thoughts.
Wait, but there was actually another one.
Psycho.
There was one from the guys. Here, this is it. This is the one that went viral. Guy in the league. This is the guy who gave it. Deleted. It says, guy in my league is 3-5 and desperate to turn his team around and needs more consistently with a running back. He sent me a text saying he really wants CMC, but there's not anyone on his team I really want. I'm currently 7-1, so I don't need to make any changes. He said I could bang his wife one time if I accept the trade offer and it goes through. Honestly, it's pretty tempting since she has huge tits and I've always had. Is it worth throwing my chances to win the chip out the window for a chance to bang this wife?
I mean, top comments: bang first, and back out of the deal.
Just absolutely insane. That's shit people will do for fantasy football. The guy's 3-5. It's not even like he has a real chance of like winning anything.
But like 3-5, you can still kind of turn it around.
If you get a guy like McCaffrey, yeah.
People are sick. They're sick, man.
God,
All right, let's go into some actual conversation about fantasy.
It was an actual conversation. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what the people come for.
It really is.
Literally.
She didn't.
Hey, literally.
She didn't.
She didn't. Yeah, no way. Guy's 3-5 in fantasy. No way that guy's making it.
You want to talk what players you're avoiding must draft?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we could do the. You want to go break it down position? QB first.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sam, we'll start up since you already got your notes up.
Show.
Yeah. So players that I'm avoiding for quarterback, I put Josh Allen.
And as I bring that up, every ESPN expert has him ranked number one.
That was the main reason. I think based off of value and where he's being drafted, I don't think that the value is there to take him as the first quarterback. If you obviously he's still a draftable guy, but taking him the first quarterback off the board is a little bit of a drag when you have guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts. I just don't think the value's there.
Is this saying that he's just QB1 or like?
So it's
based off their rankings.
These are all ESPN experts, and this is where they ranked him.
ESPN assholes.
So they all have him at 1.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's what I'm saying. The value just isn't there if you're taking Josh Allen at the first quarterback spot because no Diggs. You're bringing Keon Coleman. You don't know who he's going to be like. I mean, James Cook is going to have to run the ball 300 times this year.
Yeah, I mean the only like counter argument is that he'll have to run the ball a lot.
Right, but
running is the most valuable aspect of his game.
They're never going to stop slinging it with him, so that's always like the thing. It's just like they're always going to be it's pass first for them.
Exactly, but now the negatives are even more amplified.
He's going to have more pass attempts, more opportunities for interceptions.
Exactly, more rushing attempts, more opportunities for him to get leveled and drop the ball.
That's true.
So I just don't think the value's there.
I'm not like really disagreeing with you. I think the big thing, and I was saying it before, is to me it's Anthony Richardson. It was just like he's right here. He's ESPN 5. I was like, I think that's insane. For like he's ahead of Stroud, he's ahead of Burrow, Jordan
Being ahead
Love.
of Stroud is wild.
Like this is such a wild take for a guy like you don't know anything about him. I was like drafting him is such a coin flip. Like he could be really good, and they have an okay offense. Like they have okay pieces around him.
Yeah,
but like you don't know what you're getting out of him, and for him to be QB5 on ESPN is just that's insane to me. Ahead of the rookie of the year, the guy who he balled out last year, CJ Stroud. Joe Burrow's like he's a proven guy. Like injuries aside, like he's a proven guy. Like Anthony Richardson, completely unproven guy, and he's just sitting there at 5 is insane.
Yeah, so I mean, my must draft for quarterback was CJ Stroud. They're just loaded with weapons. He's in a division where it's going to be a lot of throwing between him, Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson. I mean, I don't even know what the quarterback situation is in Tennessee right now, but regardless, if they want to compete, they're going to have to throw the shit out of that ball. So that's why I said Stroud. I think he has the best cast of weapons in that entire division. He was phenomenal last year.
We all know that Trevor Lawrence is high class white trash.
Julian will be here soon, so
he sucks.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I'm avoiding Dak. I mean, he's only here at 8, but I do he's a starting wide receiver, but he's a starting quarterback. But I just with everything going on with CD. They have no running game that can take the pressure off him. I don't trust Cooks that much. I like Jake Ferguson, but I don't know. Just Dak is one of those guys to me. Yes, does he have those amazing games where he's putting up 30 fantasy points a game? Absolutely. But every year that I have him, last year especially, playoffs come around and Dak disappears. And
it's like he knows it's fantasy playoffs too. It's crazy.
I can't hate on the man because like he got me where I was, but then it's like every time it's like a letdown, and it's like he's kind of so boom or bust, where it's like he'll have these games where he has like 35 fantasy points, and then he has 12.
Right.
And I'm like, I would just rather a guy that gets me 20, 25 a week. I don't need the 35. I mean, it's nice, but if I have a guy like Jalen Hurts, I know every week I'm getting at least 20. Every week. Mm-hmm. He's going to push his way in there in the fourth quarter, even when they're down 2 touchdowns, and he's going to get me to that 20 fantasy point mark.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to go like a little sleeper guy here, and I'm going to go with Mr. Slim Shady over there, Joe Burrow. A little new haircut action. I think he's going to come back with a little bit of a vengeance this year. I think people are like kind of like a little bit casting him to the side. And you're like, listen, you got to get healthy. You got to show us you can still like play full seasons healthy.
Yeah.
Get this offense to the next level. And I think if he does play a full season, I think he's going to be right up there. Top 5. I mean, he should be blowing Anthony Richardson out of the water. I think he's a better pocket guy than C.J. Stroud and stuff like that. Other guys can really make the jump. Jordan Love, obviously. All eyes on Aaron Rodgers. If you're a New York Jets fan, guys like Herbert need to like really step it up for his team this year. The thing with Herbert,
he really has no weapons to throw to.
He has no weapons and no offensive line. I mean, like somebody said it was like they drafted Joe Wall. I'm like, yeah, there's 4 other guys that are terrible. Yeah, so it's like
I agree with Joe Burrow for the sense that. I mean, T. Higgins is going to want the ball now that he's due for a contract because he's on the franchise tag. Jamar Chase is going to go off, and they're not going to run the ball as much. Now that Joe Mixon's gone, they brought in Zach Moss. It's a clear downgrade, and they're going to have to really.
And he's a pass catching running back too.
Right, he's a pass catching running back, which is great, which even amplifies how good Joe Burrow might be this year.
I don't even who's even their tight end.
I think Mike Gesicki.
Oh, Gesicki's not bad.
Where? On the Bengals?
On the Bengals, if it's Gesicki's not bad. But, I mean, it's just, you got to keep Burrow upright, and if they do...
Like a dog. Beautiful dogs.
They do cry. All right. My must-have? I think the one quarterback I'm trying to...
You can't just continue.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay, just do the clap. We'll
I don't need the clap.
All right.
I don't clap. Clapping doesn't make... It's not necessary.
Hey, yo.
Clapping always makes the difference.
I don't have to me the top guys are the top guys. I understand what you're talking about, but the top guys are the top guys. But to me, a guy that I'm trying to at the quarterback position that I'm trying to leave every draft with is Jaden Daniels. Just as an upside guy, do I think he's going to be that guy that I want to rely on? Is he going to be my starting quarterback? No. But I want him on my team.
I just think
because I think there's a lot of upside.
I don't like his receiving core though.
That's how I feel about Caleb.
Him more as a rushing quarterback to me.
Okay. No, that's how I feel about Caleb. If I am taking a backup quarterback, it's a guy like
if I'm taking
Caleb or Tua.
I think the starters for the most part are the starters.
I'm obviously still loving. I will always have love for Cousins. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence can get fucked.
I'm surprised fucking Tua is that low. I'm surprised Tua is that low considering
the guy's a concussion away from retirement. I'm surprised Jared Goff's that low.
It's because these guys have the rushing upside that the other guys don't.
Yeah, but Purdy doesn't.
Well, Purdy's just neither does Burrow. The best weapons. But some of these guys are these are the true elite guys.
But that's why Kyler Murray is ahead of a guy of Jordan
Love.
Jordan Love is leaps and bounds better than Kyler Murray. It's just as a QB, but I guess fantasy wise, you got to incorporate the fact that if these guys get a rushing touchdown, if they're getting 10 rushing touchdowns, 8 to 10 rushing touchdowns, that's skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's a lot of. It's 70 points.
Yeah,
it's a lot. So to me, that's the top guys. Obviously, everyone's really targeting those top 7 guys. Yeah, I think a guy. If I need a starter, I'm obviously going to start a Kirk Cousins over Jaden Daniels. But putting him on my roster, to me, I think there's a chance that he just kind of breaks out. And I think
good trade bait option for players who get hurt.
He's a guy in a keeper league too.
Do you think he'll be the best one out of those rookies?
No, I think Caleb. Caleb's just got.
Caleb's? All right,
he's just got such better.
Besides Caleb,
yes,
Jaden Daniels.
Well, I mean, the only one. Who else is there? JJ McCarthy just got hurt.
Would be Drake May, but Drake May
doesn't even. He might not even start.
Yeah, I heard Joe Milton's been blowing him away.
Yeah,
They've been having the 3 of them was Bailey Zappi, and Bailey Zappi's outperforming him and stuff.
Or even I mean, I don't know what's going on with Denver, but Bo Nix.
I thought somebody said Bo Nix played well this weekend. No,
right? That's what I'm saying.
So played well this weekend, but I mean, that's not what we're talking about.
I saw him throw a pick.
No, I didn't see a pick on the stats.
I saw something. Oh, maybe he threw a pass really behind the cornerback. Dropped it.
That's most likely. That's a very definite possibility.
You want to talk about running backs?
Yeah, let's move.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start with the running backs I like. I mean, 3 guys that I think are going to be around. They're ranked 20 and beyond on the ESPN list is James Conner, Zamir White, and Jaylen Warren. I think Jaylen Warren is going to take that backfield from Najee Harris.
Ooh,
I disagree
with that.
James Conner is just, when he is healthy, he is a top 10 fantasy running back, if not better. And I think Zamir White's going to have a lot of opportunity. But yeah, I mean, Jaylen Warren and James Conner are 2 guys I'm definitely going to be trying to grab.
Yeah, I mean, as stash guys in your, he's more of like a flex option, I could say.
For sure. I'm talking about like guys that I'm trying to take, not like the top guys, because we can argue about the top guys all you want, but
right. But I mean, like everybody knows,
everybody knows Saquon's good. Everybody knows Pacheco, these guys.
Kyron Williams, like guys like that. I mean, really start from like obviously like James Cook down, like 12 and down.
Yeah. I would say if anybody, it's Devon Achane or Devon Achane, however you pronounce it. I think that his speed is just unmatched at the position right now, and it's such a wide open offense for them. He's just gonna have so many opportunities, and he's a big pass catching guy. I mean, he's probably gonna get also 20 to 25 touches a game, and if he's able to get 80 yards from scrimmage plus a touchdown every other week, I mean, he's definitely gonna be into that top 10 option.
I'm kind of like in
the person I'm avoiding is James Cook, 1,000%. I'm avoiding Buffalo at all costs.
I mean, I'm liking Josh Jacobs just because I think that offense has a lot of upside, and it's just like they're gonna need, they can't just, Jordan Love's second full season, they're not just gonna let him just sling it all day long.
Right.
The guy LaFleur is like, he kind of seems like he's a little more surgical than that. So I think they're gonna sit there, and he's gonna get a lot of pass catching opportunities too, which heightens his his value and
he's
everything.
Always going to be the goal line guy.
Yeah, and he is just like he can be a workhorse. So like I like him getting 20, 25 touches a game. I don't like the Jalen Warren thing. I don't know, like the disrespect to Najee Harris.
Catcher.
I agree with that, but like Najee Harris gets 1,000 yards a season, like rushing.
Well, and the offense is going to be worse now.
I mean, it should be.
It should be better, but it might be worse because Arthur Smith's in charge.
It should be better because you have Russell, like a ex Super Bowl winning QB.
Right, but they don't have a wide receiver one.
They got
Pickens.
They got Pickens.
Is he really a wide receiver one?
He seems to think he is. So we're gonna find out.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna find out.
No, Pickens is talented. He's just had Kenny Pickett throwing him the ball. I mean, losing Deontay Johnson is kind of big, but
that's the part that I was trying to get to.
Freiermuth is really good. And then, I kind of agree with you. They're lacking on that kind of talent.
Which is surprising because they've been a wide receiver factory since.
Letting Deontay Johnson go, I thought was really stupid for them because now you finally brought in a quarterback that could actually get the ball to these guys, and then you let your number two receiver go. I mean, but I don't know. I think Najee Harris over Jalen Warren just because he is a workhorse for them. Like he has just been with that terrible team just getting his work in and getting 1,000 yards like one way or another. And I think if they can actually throw the ball a little bit, it's going to alleviate some pressure for him. And I think he can really get out there as like a top runner.
Yeah.
But who else on this list?
I think
Zamir Whitehouse also I feel like tough just because that offense is so bad. They don't even have a QB right now. Both guys have been supposedly looking bad in camp.
Yeah, I would actually say Brian Robinson more. I think with Brian
as an avoid guy.
No, it's somebody it's like a stash guy instead of Zamir White, just because
Zamir White is super talented though. Talented.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, Brian Robinson, I think he's kind of like Josh Jacobs. He's a bruiser, but he has that speed. He can catch the ball. The offense is going to look much better with Jaden Daniels there. I mean, De'Ami Brown and Terry McLaurin. I mean, they can stretch the defense and widen everything out.
I'm excited for Terry just because he can be such a good receiver.
He's due for a good quarterback and to really produce.
He really needs it. He could be a legitimate wide receiver one. He just has no chance.
Yeah,
none.
I think he's just in the bottom tier of wide receiver twos as of right now. I mean, everything could change as the season goes on.
Nothing his fault. It's not his fault.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a I think it's a lack of opportunity out of him. Just
right.
Not getting what he's really deserving.
Yeah, and I'd say for me, a running back I'm avoiding is Ramondre Stevenson. I like Ramondre Stevenson. I like you said with Buffalo, I want nothing to do with the New England offense.
Yeah, I mean
Drake Mays look bad. Obviously,
I think now guys getting hurt. Maybe I'm avoiding Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
With the injuries coming in, he's now probably an avoidance guy. I mean, they might start handing him to him more just because what are you going to do? You got Sam Darnold, but I mean the offense might become a little bit more predictable now that you got less options.
Yeah, I mean, but still, there's still weapons there. They're not totally destroyed. Obviously, Jordan Addison going down hurts. I don't know if KJ Osborne is still there, but obviously Justin Jefferson.
He's in New England. KJ Osborne.
Okay. So
they still have talent. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like they still have Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson. Their offensive line has improved every year over the last 5 years. I think that they're definitely able to compete and put up some good numbers, but as a team, they're probably going to be last in that division.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too hard of a division, anyways. Yeah, because obviously Chicago being ever improving, Detroit and Green Bay are going to be fighting for that division.
Right.
So, receivers. Then.
Do you guys want to keep doing them, or do you want to kind of wrap this one up and we could save that for another time for the next episode?
Let me just.
We're already over an hour.
All right. So then, we'll do.
Are we over an hour?
It's been recording. We probably isn't because of everything, but
yeah,
we're about an hour. We could do. I mean, we could do wide receivers quick if you guys want.
Trim it down to 40, something like that. Yeah, let's just do it quick.
Yeah, let's just get wide receivers out of the way.
Let's do it quick. Let's see. You want to start, Sam?
Yeah. So for wide receivers, the first one I'm avoiding is Chris Olave.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, Chris Olave. It's just like I just don't trust Derek Carr anymore. He's just over the hill. I don't even like Alvin Kamara for that fact. I don't think that they're going to be a good team. They have a lot of work to do. And he burned me last year, so I mean, I guess I'm a little sour for that. But
there it is.
Yeah, but still, he didn't produce early on, and then I traded him, and then he did well. But still, if he's going to be up and down all year, you can't afford that for a guy who's right now projected as the 10th overall wide receiver. If he's going to be your number one option, you need consistency.
Yeah, and mine my wide receiver I'm avoiding obviously Chris Olave is one of them. Michael Pittman Jr. is another. I just don't know.
Didn't he just get hurt?
I don't think so.
No, I think it was Josh Downs, the UNC guy they drafted last year. I think he got hurt.
Like Michael Pittman I think he's a great receiver, but at the 11th spot where he's going, I don't see the value. Especially we don't know what Anthony Richardson is as a quarterback, like you said, but we know he's a better runner than thrower. Obviously, he can throw the ball. Like he's a good, talented guy, but he's coming off an injury. It's his second year. I don't know. I just don't know if I trust him, especially where he's going. And another thing, like I was talking about before. The video I was watching where the guy was talking about what the receivers or the players produced last year versus their Vegas over-under. Olave and Michael Pittman, both over 1,000 yards last year. I'm pretty sure, actually, it might not be Olave. Michael Pittman last year, over 1,000 yards. This year, his over-under on FanDuel is 750. So clearly, even the books think he's going to fall off with the quarterback, with his production, and it's something it's going to be hard for him to keep up with. So, a great player, but in fantasy, I'm avoiding him.
I'm just going to say this just to piss off Julian. I'm avoiding Calvin Ridley just because Trevor Lawrence is so fucking trash.
That was the other one.
Calvin Ridley's in Tennessee. Christian Kirk is the wide receiver in Jacksonville now.
That was the other one.
I'll avoid him anyways because Will Levis is trash.
And DeAndre, he's going to get a lot of targets for the first month because DeAndre is suspended for the first month.
Even if I thought Calvin Ridley was still all right. So if he's in Tennessee, then yeah, I mean that offense, no Derrick Henry. I mean that offense might just be in shambles.
Yeah,
and for him to kind of be. It looks like middle of the pack at wide receivers. I think is a little insane. Where is he listed on here?
Who are we talking again?
Calvin Ridley.
26.
Not really. Here on ESPN, he's listed like.
That's based off of projections for week one. They reorganize it every week. If you look on the app.
Because I'm looking at projections, and I got guys like Cooper Kupp behind him, Devonta Smith, I even think Neighbors, Diggs, Chris Godwin, these guys are all
But those are all wide receiver twos, other than Diggs.
Right, but I mean, I'm just saying that he may be a wide receiver one, but I don't think he's not gonna depth chart wise, he's not putting up wide receiver one numbers. I mean, Will Levis really needs to make strides, but who else are you throwing to?
Yeah, based off of
he's
his
also
ranking,
only wide receiver one until you said Hopkins comes back.
Right. So I mean, based off of his ranking, he's a back end wide receiver 2, borderline flex, wide receiver 3, which is technically fine, but that's also knowing that DeAndre Hopkins is out for a month. So when that changes, is he going to be even lower?
I got to change my answer then because I didn't realize he went to Tennessee.
Yeah, so he's in Tennessee now.
Because now you're talking obviously that's an avoidance guy. But
did you guys see what Matt LaFleur said?
No.
He was like, I want to vomit every time I hear number one receiver. It drives me crazy. That's something you guys talk about. I think we've got a lot of them.
Well, that's because
he got made across the board.
Well, he's the Packers coach, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they have three really good between Dobbs, right, Watson, and Reed. They have three really good receivers.
Right. So when I say mid, they don't have a guy who's a bona fide number one guy, which is why he's saying that. But he wouldn't be saying that if Devontae hadn't left.
Yeah.
He force-fed Devontae when they were there. So he's just saying that now because he knows.
But I'll say one thing. There's reports from Dan Graziano, ESPN. Apparently, a lot of people are saying Dobbs is going to be the guy. Dobbs is going to be their main guy because there was a lot of talk with Reed broke out last year. Watson, when he was healthy, was great. They have three legit good receivers, but there are a lot of people apparently saying that Dobbs is looking like the main guy, the main target for Jordan Love. So
yeah, I mean, I could agree with that.
Keep that in mind, I guess, when you're drafting. But
it's not really like avoid guys, really, that are like kind of like that middle. I mean, if Ayuk does get ditched to Pittsburgh, I mean, I don't know if that like helps or hurts him.
That's bad for him, I'd say.
I mean, Jalen Waddle here. I mean, he's like a boom or bust guy.
He's another guy that it's like best ability is available.
Marvin Harrison at 13 is a tricky one because like obviously they're talking about like he could be obviously generational talent. You know, he could be, you know, but rookie wide receivers, you know, tend to like not really like produce like off the chart numbers like right away. Just because, you know, getting used to the speed, like getting used to different defenses, you know, and he also has a QB coming off injury. So, I mean, I'm not saying avoid him, but like him being at 13 might be just a tad high, like being above like a Nico Collins or being above a DK.
I think the only argument above a guy like Nico Collins is just sharing the offense with so many different options.
Yeah.
You know, they have legit three guys. You could make a case for a wide receiver one, high level two caliber guy.
Well, even like you're saying, like
and Tank.
If Tank Dell's coming off injury, Diggs is like a hot mess if he doesn't get the ball. So it's like, you know, his emotions get the best of him.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like Nico can just emerge as, you know, a clear cut number one in that offense.
Yeah. What do you guys? Is there a receiver you guys are targeting? I'm gonna guess we all have the same guy, but.
I mean, my answer is...
You're talking Garrett Wilson?
I'm talking Garrett Wilson.
I'm talking Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson,
he's a top guy. I was looking further down. I was going to say T. Higgins. He's in a prove-it year. He's on a franchise tag right now. He wants to get paid, and I think that he's just going to try and ball out as much as he can.
Yeah, I mean, he's ranked 27th here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, as of right now, he's not even projected to be a wide receiver, too. Which is insane, considering his talent and what he's done in the league.
I'm going to go... the former Triple Crown winner in Cooper Kupp. I think he's gonna ball out this year. I don't know what's making me say it. I'm just liking Cooper Kupp. I think if he has a healthy year, Stafford stays upright.
Teams definitely probably forgot about him after the Puka.
I mean, even when he came back last year, like he started playing really well, and then like Puka, like not like, you know, he plateaued out. Like he was still playing well, but like he obviously wasn't getting his 10 catches a game because now, you know, Cooper Kupp, who's, you know, a guy that is a proven, you know, former number one. But I mean, I think he might come back and steal his reign this year.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Zay Flowers. He's one of my keepers in our league, but to me, it's the real fact that he's not really sharing that offense with any outside of Mark Andrews, and they have Derrick Henry, who's not really a pass catcher. He's kind of the guy there. So, like, we saw what he did last year when, Jesus Christ, when Andrews went down. But I don't know. I think Lamar trusts him, and he's got a lot of, you know, after the catch, he can do a lot of damage.
The only tough thing is that, like, it was like last year, like that offense was so good that they just eventually stopped passing the ball. Because like you'd have games where like Lamar's having like
they're up so much.
Yeah, 15 to 18 attempts because like the offense is just they're up so quick that it just becomes a run game for them.